Hey, Tammy. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Julian. Yo. I see you there, Jeff. Hey, Cindy. Welcome to everyone. We are getting ready to go live here in just a moment, so just kind of chime in and get a seat, get you a little something to eat, and I'll be right back. You're watching the Amber News Network. All right, here we go. All right. Well, a very pleasant, good morning, what is this, Thursday? Good Thursday morning to you, everyone. Hi, this is Amber Alert founder, Pastor Charles Williams, welcoming everyone watching on Facebook Live and our family on Periscope this morning. We're all together in one big broadcast, and I've got some things that I kind of want to share with you. Hey, Cindy, I kind of want to share with you all about, as I've titled this broadcast, to be a broadcast. Let me get comfortable here. There we go. To be a broadcast around child safety. Okay, I said that it's Child Safety 101. Can we talk? And ladies and gentlemen, we do need to talk. Okay. I'll share with you what happened, my experience, and then you can put your comments in as I will see them right here on our monitors, and we will go forth in that manner. On this morning, I was at an establishment. I will not give the name of it, but I was at an establishment on this morning, and something happened. Hey, Black Swan 48, and something happened to me as I was there at this establishment. Hey, good morning, Julie. And it prompted me to come back and to just kind of do a little quick broadcast and encourage our people that, listen, even though I know it's summertime now and people are excited about doing different things and doing different activities and so forth, and it's easy to become distracted. I get that, okay? I absolutely do. I get that. And here's what happened this morning. Like I said, I was at an establishment here in Columbus, Ohio. And as I was going forth to do the things that I would normally do, there was a lady walking in front of me with an infant in one of those, what you call car carriers. Hey, 19 Lulu, in one of those car carriers for the children. And normally nothing like that really bothers me, okay? But it was just something that was out of kilter this morning about this one. So I'm getting ready to walk into this establishment again here in Columbus, and this lady with this infant child in this car carrier, and let me mention, it was raining too this morning when I was doing this. Okay, this lady, she comes and she brings this little child and sets the child up on, hey Dara, and sets this child up on the front porch of this establishment that I was at, okay? And then she turns around to leave, and she was walking back out to the parking lot. Hey, Rainy 01. She was walking back out to the parking lot. And she left her infant child out in the rain in the little carrier thing. So she's leaving and she's going back out to the parking lot. And I stopped her. I intervened. I stopped her. And I said, excuse me, I need you to go back and get that child. And she looked at me like, I need you to mind your own business. I told her a second time, excuse me, this is my business. I need you to go back and get that child. She said, well, I just need to go out to the parking lot and get something out of the car. My child will be okay right there. My child will be okay. The parking lot was about, maybe 100 to 150 feet away from where we were, where she left the child. So let me see if I understand this right. This mother, this morning, she took and she left her infant child still in the car carrier thing, left it on the front porch of this establishment while she goes out to goes back out to the parking lot because she forgot something in the car. I told her, I said, I need you to go back, pick up your child. If you need to go back to your car, that's cool. But you take your child with you. We don't leave children on doorsteps and just walk away. And I thought about that. She got mad and she was about ready to cuss me out and everything. And, listen, I get that a lot as Amber Alert founder. Okay, I really do. And so, like I said, she got mad, got ready to cuss me out, and she was like huffing and, hey, I just wish you people would mind your own business. And I'm just going to the parking lot. My child will be just fine right there. And can I remind everybody that it only takes a moment to lose your child for a lifetime? Okay? It only takes a moment to lose a child for a lifetime. I took a risk this morning of that mother being very, very angry with me. I took a risk at that, of her being very, very angry with me. But at that moment, you have to know I didn't care. The only thing that I cared about was that little infant child. Not even a toddler, infant child, still in a car carrier. Hey, Simon 12. And so she told me, she said, well, you go on into the establishment. You go on in. I'm just not going to go in right now. I'm so mad. I'm so PO'd. I'm so PO'd at you. I'm so mad. And so she walked around outside for a little bit. I watched her. She walked around outside for a little bit, and then finally she came on into the establishment. You know what? That lady, she never went back to that car. She never went back to the car. All of a sudden, what, she was fixing to leave her child out in the rain on the front porch of an establishment to go back to her car. All of a sudden, it wasn't important to her anymore. Okay? She never went back to that car. And I thought about this when I was in the establishment. I thought about this. That lady was not even carrying a bag, okay? She was not even carrying a bag for a change of clothes, a change of Pampers. You know, an infant's gonna have some dirty Pampers. Give them an hour, an infant's gonna have a wet or a soiled Pamper, okay? She didn't have any of that. She says that she was going to get something out of the car. Now, even if that was true, and this is where I want y'all to chime in at, even if that were to be true, that lady, okay, even if that were true, and she was, if I hadn't been there, and she was walking back out to the parking lot, she could have gotten distracted. She could have gotten hit by another vehicle driving around looking for a parking spot in that particular establishment. Anything could have happened to her while she went back to her car, and that little infant child would have been left standing there. Hey, Wanda Randles, good to see you again. And I thought about that. And then I told my wife, I said, I wanted to come on here. I wanted to come back on here, and I wanted to talk to the people on Facebook and the people on Periscope about this. What would you do? What would you do if you saw someone leave a child on a doorstep and then walk away and expect you not to say anything? What would your response have been? Would it have been to just simply, you know, hey, as some people say, hey, just mind your own business? Would it have been for you to, again, confront this mother like I did and take the risk of not being liked by this person for the remainder of the day? Okay? But what would you have done if you saw someone just dropping off? One that says, I could not say anything because I am an adoptive mom. Okay? Hey, okay, all right, Wanda, okay. Julie says, my thought was, is that baby really theirs? It's possible. That's another thought. Was it really theirs? Wanda says, no. But again, for those of y'all who are just coming in, we're live on both Facebook Live and Periscope simultaneously here this morning. Wanda says, I said I would have had to say something. Okay, Wanda. Wanda said, I would have had to say something. Absolutely. You see, I mean, imagine being at a Walmart. Now, this didn't happen at Walmart, okay? No, I couldn't let that go either, Wanda, and I didn't let it go. But imagine being at a Walmart and you see somebody go up and drop the baby off at the front door of Walmart, and then they go back. You know how Walmart's parking lots are. And if someone had a baby with no diaper bag, etc. Yeah, absolutely, Julie. Great point. She did not have a diaper bag. She did not have anything that would be needed for an infant. And I know, I've had plenty of them, okay? And I got a bunch of grands right now. But again, this underscores the fact that it is summertime. People can get distracted and everything. I get that, okay? But here's what, again, you got to do, okay? I just shudder to think this lady could have walked back out to the parking lot. Somebody could have called her on her phone, and she would have been distracted. She'd have spent more time on her phone. Okay, she'd spent more time on her phone than she would have trying to protect their child. Now, according to law in most states, that would have been considered child abandonment. That would have been considered child endangerment, because she left the child out in the elements, and it was raining. She left the child out in the elements, and she was going to go at least 100 to 150 feet, depending upon where she was parked in the parking lot. So, if you should find yourself in a situation like that, hey Cheryl in Georgia, if you should find yourself in a situation like that, here's what I would encourage you to do. You got to know, this had to be a God intervention moment for this woman, okay? Because if she'd have done this with some other people probably would not have said or done anything. But I am the last person on this earth that lady wanted to do this in front of, okay? I really am. So, what can I share with you? Wanda Randall says, I have a 3-year-old grandson who knows I cannot leave him in the car. I teach my grandkids that. Absolutely, that's great, Wanda. But what would you do if you found yourself in a situation? One, I would encourage, and this is where I was going with this morning. If you ever find yourself in that kind of a situation, first of all, take out your phone and start videoing. Okay? Start videoing, because I was fixing to video the child being left there and video her leaving the child there. Why videotape that? Okay? Not for Facebook or likes or anything at all like that. But I would encourage people to videotape such activity so that when you call the authorities, okay? When you call the authorities, they don't just have your word, okay? They don't just have your word. They have it on tape. Because as long as the authorities just have your word, it can be your word against her word or their word. But when you have it on videotape to give to the authorities, because oftentimes you'll see something like that happen, you'll confront the person or whatever, and the person then will turn around and maybe they'll go get in the car and they'll leave before police can even show up. Okay? So if you have it on videotape, you can present that videotape evidence to the law enforcement agency in your area when they show up, and let them know this is why they were called, and then they will determine and take it from there. But it's an interesting time now. Actually, I thought about this. People seem to care more about their smartphones. They seem to care more about their cars than they do their children. This lady, just pause with me and think about this for a moment. This lady placed whatever was in her car that was important to her. This lady placed her car over her infant child. Do you know how quick somebody could have come out of that establishment? Because it was an establishment where both men and women appear, okay? And it would have taken only a moment for somebody to come by and just pick that child up while she's fumbling around out in the parking lot, okay? So I'm not going to beat this drum just on and on and on. Hey, Rev Ray Collins, thanks for joining. But again, whether you're in Walmart, if you're shopping this summer, we want everybody to have a good and a happy and a prosperous and a safe summer, okay? But at the same time, if you're in Walmart, don't just leave your child in the Walmart basket. A perpetrator could take your child just as easily, okay? So we have got to be, Listen, hey, Minister William A., it is so critically important because, okay, we know a predator cannot live near a school, a predator cannot live nowhere near children, but what happens, okay, what happens when you go to Walmart and a predator is in Walmart shopping too, okay? Or you go, hey, S. Monroe, haven't seen you in a while. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to make people paranoid about every move that you make, but you do need to be smart. You do need to be cautious concerning our kids. Thankfully, this morning we did not have to issue an Amber Alert. Okay, thankfully we did not have to issue an Amber Alert. Minister Williams says, every time an Amber Alert comes up on my way, I'm praying. You know what? And that is the foundation of the Amber Alert, because it came from me, and I'm telling you, I am a person of intense prayer. I really am. And so, but if you take and you just set your child there in the hands of a predator, okay, you're going to set your child on the doorstep for anybody to come and get? I mean, I could not believe that this was happening in front of me this morning. It's about quarter to noon right now. That happened about 2 hours ago. I know one thing for sure. That lady this morning, she met a man that she'll never forget. Okay? She met a man that she will never forget. Because, you know, I can talk light and everything and so forth. But this morning, the Amber Alert founder came out of me. Okay? This morning, in a very authoritative voice. I demanded for her to come back, pick up that child, and go do whatever it was you needed to go do. I wasn't against her going to a car. I was just against her going to her car and leaving her child on the doorsteps of an establishment. For all I know, she could have been leaving that child there, okay, and then just driving off, and we would not have known. So, you know, sometimes there are God intervention moments in life, and I believe this morning that lady had a God intervention moment, okay, at the hands of the Amber Alert founder. Okay, again, you got to know that I had to be the last person on this earth that she wanted to be caught by. Okay, and you know, I watched her even after she went into the establishment. You know, that lady, get this, that lady, she never went back to her car. She didn't. Something that was so important to her, okay? Something, hey, Minister Williams 88, something that was so important to her, enough to where she would leave her infant child in a car seat in the rain in Ohio this morning. All of a sudden, it was not important enough for her to ever have to go back to her car. She never went back to the car. Never did. So the question then remains, why was she trying to go off and leave her child on a doorstep of an establishment? I don't know, but I do know that when I did leave that establishment, that mother and that child was together. Now, she probably didn't care 2 cents at all about me, and you know, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that, as long as the child is safe. And I can report that that child was safe. Again, I've had, my wife and I, we have 4 daughters. They're all grown now, so I know when you're going into an establishment with an infant child, I know certain things you ought to have. You ought to have a diaper bag with you, okay? You ought to have a diaper bag with you. You ought to have, at least a bag holding, the milk bottle or something or some whatever. Can I tell you, this lady had none of that. She had none of that. Now, before consenting to do this broadcast, I was talking to my wife about this issue, and my wife said, well, hon, you got to give her some credit. You got to give her. I said, think about this too. She says, at least she didn't leave her child in the car. That's just as bad, okay? And I want to talk about that too. Again, it is summertime, okay? It is summertime. Hey, Erica. It is summertime, and it is so easily to become distracted by our phones, by texting or whatever, again, we want everyone to have a good and a prosperous and a good time this summer. But listen, y'all, we got to keep our kids safe. We really do. And that's why I tagged this broadcast Child Safety 101. You would think that everybody knows about this. You would think that everybody knows better than this. But ladies and gentlemen, I am finding out, and I'm here to report to you that there are still some mothers and others, okay? There are mothers and others who are, who are there. I mean, hey, Jimmy, hey, Erica. There are still mothers, young mothers, new mothers, who are coming into this every day. I mean, they'll set their child down and go and do whatever. Y'all, we live in such a society now that there are people who are literally watching you. Okay? If you have to go to a restroom, they are watching you. Okay? And they will snatch your child in a New York minute. And just in the time that lady had turned around and had walked to the parking lot. Okay? I mean, somebody could have came by, picked up that child, hid that child under a cloak of an umbrella or something, and put that child in their car. And by the time that lady would have come back from doing whatever she had desired to do in her car, she could have been, that child could have been blocks away. Okay? Somebody with that child could have been blocks away. So again, what do you do if something like that confronts you? 1, pull out your phone, videotape it. Okay? Videotape it. You see a child just sitting somewhere, no adult around, please don't go pick up the child. Okay? That's the last thing to do. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go pick up the child. But videotape the child being there, being left there unattended. Because in most states, it is against the law to leave a child unattended. Okay? That's called neglect. That's called abandonment and neglect. Okay? So, again, videotape it. And the reason I encourage people to videotape something like this, God forbid, should you see a situation like this, so that when the authorities are called, they are summoned, okay, you will have videotape evidence of somebody leaving their child unattended, okay? And I don't just mean this was just a child that was unattended in a parking lot somewhere. This child, again, I want you to just walk this image again, was this mother took and she only had, can I announce to you, she only had one child. There was no confusion. She didn't have 3 children that she was trying to juggle, okay? She didn't have 3 children. She only had one child, and that was the child that she left on the doorsteps of that establishment. One child. Now, I mean, I don't give a pass to people who have 3 children. I don't. But surely, this lady could not even manage one child. And her idea was to just simply leave the child on the steps while she go. Wanda Randall says, question, should she not have gotten upset? But how did she react or respond to your help? Oh, yes, Wanda. That's a great question, Wanda. Did she not, was she upset? You bet she was upset. I mean, she was huffing and puffing at me. Okay? She was ready to cuss me out. I could see it getting ready to come off of her lips, Wanda. She was getting ready to cuss me out. Okay? And she told me, she said, well, why don't you just mind your own business? And I reminded her, saving children is my business. Okay? And she was like, you know, I'm just going to my car. It's out there in the parking lot. Well, I'm saying, that's okay. You can go to your car, but come back and get your child and take your child with you to your car. Okay? Under no circumstance is it okay for you, to leave your child unabandoned. I mean, leave your child abandoned on the doorstep of that establishment. Hey, Tamara Williams, thanks for watching. Hey, Wanda. Again, so I just, you know, sometimes things can happen and it just makes you a little, you know, it just makes you nervous, you know, for a little bit. And I'll admit to you, for the following hour or so, I was just a little nervous, you know, wondering, did I do the right thing? Did I not? And so I was talking to some others in the establishment that we were going into, and they said, man, you did the absolute right thing. Yeah, absolute right thing. And my train of thought was that I told her once to get her child, she still wanted to go to the car. I told her twice to get her child, and she still wanted to go to the car. The third time was that if you don't get your child right now, I'm calling the police. Okay? And it was at that third threat, it was at that third demand that she came huffing and puffing back to pick up her child again, who was left out. Wanda says it was time for tag number 3. It was time for tag number, etc. Absolutely it was, Wanda. Absolutely. Erica says, we'll look at reply. Great topic. Got to handle some important business. You did the right thing. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Tamara. God bless you too. Okay, but absolutely. So again, these young people, okay, these young people with these children, okay. I may just be too old school, but I just don't think it's never a good idea to leave your child abandoned. Okay, to me, it was abandoned. You set your child down and your car's 150 feet away, and you're going to go to your car, leave your child right here. Okay? Nobody there to watch that child. And she's got a, you know, she's got a smartphone, and I mean, somebody could call her and be on the phone and be distracted. And you know how people get when they're on their phone. They're like, oh my goodness, girl, I left my child up here at the front door. You know, that could be 10 minutes later. You know, in our industry, it is said and generally believed that, okay, Wanda says, need to be taught how to raise their own children. Absolutely. It is believed that a person, when they abduct a child, can flee at the rate of a mile a minute. Think about that, a mile a minute. It would have taken her at least 5 minutes to get back, to go to her car and get back. Okay? Julie says it's better to have you there at that exact moment versus having to come out for another type of a situation with a missing baby. Absolutely. And you know what? And to boot, here's the thing. If that child had been taken by somebody, yes, an Amber Alert would have been issued, okay? But you know what else would have been issued? Okay? That mother would have been issued. She could be brought up on charges for, one, abandoning her child, leading to an Amber Alert. Okay? So, again, you know, like I said, maybe I'm just too old school, and maybe this is the way a lot of young people think that it's okay to do with their children. But then, too, maybe that's why God gave me this concept called the Amber Alert. And trust me, I don't just issue Amber Alerts. Okay? When I see situations like this, something in me just rises up. Almost with a forceful nature. Something in me just rises up. And I'm not afraid to confront parents who are not doing the right thing. Okay? And leaving their children out unattended. Wanda says, I have a difficult time feeling empathy for a parent who is careless. I'm sorry. I feel you, Wanda. I feel you. So, I just thought I'd come in and just share that little moment with you all this morning. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your concerns, as it's almost noon here on the East Coast. As of this moment, we were able to do this particular broadcast because there are no active Amber Alerts as of this moment. However, I will tell you that there were a couple of Amber Alerts. The last 2 Amber Alerts. There was one out of League City, Texas. There was a 2-year-old who was abducted by their non-custodial parents, and for good reason. The authorities had good reason to issue this Amber Alert because this was a weird one. About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, or a little bit more than that now, this mother, that particular mother, lost a child, pretty much in the same manner. And that mother, that child was deceased, and she lost that child. And so she goes on and she has another child. And she names that child the exact same name of the child that she lost. So that when the Amber Alert was issued, some of our child safety advocates were hitting me up, and they were telling me, they said, hey, did you know? They said, hey, check out this mother's page. Did you know that the mother had a previous child by the same name? Are you sure that this is not something old? And so we checked with the League City, Texas Police Department, and they assured us that what we were doing was accurate and was current. But I guess there's no law against having another child and naming it the same name of the child that just deceased. But yeah, I'm like, who really does that? I don't know. So, but anyway, that was a circumstance in that League City, Texas Amber Alert that was done on last week. So we're thankful for the quiet moments. And again, hey, you know what? Talk to your children. If you have children that have small children, talk to them. Okay, let them know. Hey, if you got to go to Walmart, or you got to go to Kroger or Tom Thumb Page or whatever it is in your area, Meijer or whatever, if you've got to go to something like that, have that discussion with him. with them. If you've got, if you're a parent and you got 3 children, that is odd, Julie. You're right. If you're a parent and you've got 3 children, I mean, now listen, there are a lot of good parents out there I want to give your props to. I'm in Walmart a lot, y'all, so I use that I use their example a lot. But I see parents sometime in Walmart, they have their children holding on to the basket. You're going to walk, you're going to hold on to the basket, and the children are very well behaved. And sometimes I'll go up to a parent and I'll say, hey, you know what? You get the Good Parent Award. Okay, to see these children holding on to the basket like this, and they're they're in submission to you. That's a good thing to see. It really, really is. But Minister Williams says, yep, I do that when I'm with my children. They hold on to the basket, or they're in my basket. Okay, and somebody else said, not allowed to walk away, period. I get you. I get you. Absolutely. And again, talking about child safety, one of the worst things that you can do if you're out in public, let's see, a lot of people are going to be going to theme parks and so forth, or swimming, splash pads, things of that nature. One of the worst things a person can do at venues like that, or like Walmarts or some of these super centers or whatever, one of the worst things you can do is send your child to the bathroom by his or herself. Okay? You don't want to do that. There have been a number of children that have come up missing. Or if they don't come up missing, they may come out of the bathroom having been violated. Okay? Now I know I don't want to belabor that point. Okay, somebody says, Minister Williams says, yeah, if my 5-year-old has to go to the potty, my 14-year-old goes with him. Hey, you got a plan and you're working it. That's a good deal. That's a good thing. One that says, wear usually unique T-shirts, easily detectable in a crowd. That's great. That's great. We got the 4th of July coming up, and here in Ohio we have what's called Red, White, and Boom. Okay, it's a big firework display and everything, and does a number of things. Jimmy says there are too many creepers out there. Absolutely. Minister Williams says, amen. Yes, great idea. I'm in Houston. Hey, Jimmy's in Texas, and Minister Williams is in Texas. That's great. But again, don't allow your children to go to the bathroom or go to the restroom on their own. Because if they don't come out of their missing, they could come out of there violated. Okay? It happens. I know we don't like to talk about this, but again, that's part of, keeping your child, helping to keep your child safe. Okay? We're talking child safety 101. So I want to thank y'all again. I'm getting ready to get out of here. It's a little afternoon now, and I'm going to go get something to eat. Minister Williams says if you take your kids to a special parades, you got to be really, 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 really safe. And Minister Williams, you're absolutely right. Okay? So, listen, if you're not one of my followers on Facebook, I want to encourage you to go to our Facebook page. Okay? Our Facebook page is 3 words, Amber Alert Founder. That's Amber Alert Founder on Facebook. And if you're not one of my followers on Periscope, okay, go to our Periscope page. Okay, again, Amber Alert Founder on Periscope. You'll see us there. And as we're broadcasting, as all of our broadcasts going forward will be done simultaneously. That way we can reach more, do more, and giving all of our children a realistic chance at being found. Hey, Jimmy, thanks for all that you do. Julie, thanks for all that you do. And helping us to get the information out. Hey, for those of y'all on Periscope, if you go to our Facebook page, a couple of days ago, I put up a new post for this week's missing children. Now, these children did not require an Amber Alert, but they are still missing. Okay, and there's about a 5-minute video clip of all these children. If you're interested, you need to go over to our Facebook page, and you'll see that clip there. Thousands have already taken that clip and have shared it in order to help find these children. Not every child gets an Amber Alert. Okay, not every child meets the criteria for an Amber Alert, but we are still concerned. We are still concerned about all children that go missing. Listen, y'all go get something to eat. I'm going to do the same. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here from the Amber News Network. Bye-bye now. Helping to keep all of America's children safe. I've been your host, Amber Alert founder, Pastor Charles Williams. Thank you so very much for all of your comments, your prayers, and your shares. If you're watching this on Periscope, share it on Twitter. You're watching this on Facebook, share it in your groups, okay? God bless. Bye-bye now. We're out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.